joining me today. Why is it that employees or people on your team won't say what's on their minds or ask you the questions that's been rolling around in their heads for a while? It's possible that they fear retaliation or repercussions for asking the wrong questions. And if that's the case, that's not good. They shouldn't feel that way. They should be able to or feel like they can come to you and ask you questions without those fears. But whatever the reason, experience shows us that if employees don't get the 411 from you, they look for it elsewhere, and oftentimes in the wrong places. However, if you are proactive in addressing these 5 most common questions that employees want to ask, you can minimize, if not eliminate, all misinformation that tends to get the best of the employees and the organization as a whole. So the first question is, what's my future in this company? Well, if they have a future there, regardless if it's in your department or your team, wherever in the organization, by all means, lay out all the options as well as all the steps they need to take in order to get there. And avoid the ambiguity and be open and honest about the employee's performance to date and discuss what results are necessary for them to get to the next level. Second question is, what are my strengths and weaknesses? I know. They're a paid professional and they got to ask you what their strengths and weaknesses are. Actually, it's a good question. They need to ask you that. And if you have team members or employees that ask you that, that's a good thing, because think about it. It's difficult for people to truly self-assess because we filter our experiences and perceptions through our own belief biases. So be candid with your employees with your feedback and do it on a consistent basis. Take the lead in the conversation, but don't turn it into a lecture. You talk, let them talk. Create a dialogue. And over time, you'll start to build that trust and that openness that you'll be looking for. And they'll start to open up and ask you questions that normally they would keep in their brain. Third question is, what's the best way to ask for a raise? Well, let's look at it like this. As a leader, we need to sit them down and we need to be open and upfront about how decisions are made. Then we also need to be clear about which performance-based metrics are used as criteria when making decisions. Employees take more accountability when compensation is aligned with specific targets that directly impact it. So let's make sure that we're clear to them on these issues. Number 4, when is it okay to unplug from work? Let's let our team or our employees in on a little secret. The last thing we want to do is micromanage them, okay? Nobody wants to be micromanaged, and we shouldn't want to micromanage people. Be sure to speak with them about your expectations and be clear about it. Simple. The 5th one is the company on track to achieve its goals? Okay, listen. A company without a clear vision of its organization's progress will cause people to speculate. And we don't want to give people time to assume the worst, right? So let's keep our employees engaged on the progress of the company, where we are, where we're at, and where we're going. Employees that understand their roles and how essential their roles are more apt to become motivated and to take ownership of their work and help bring the company out of a slump, should they need to, or if they need to, or even if they can. So those are the 5 questions that we need to be proactive in addressing with our team and employees, so that we can get them to understand where we stand, how to get certain things done, what they need to look at so they can progress, and how we can work together as a whole so that everybody's on the same playing field and on the same page. And a little bonus information. Water what you want to grow. In other words, lead the team how you want to be led. Promote and celebrate what you want to see more. If you see people taking more accountability, becoming more motivated, taking ownership of their work, collaboration, promote that, celebrate that. Make sure you highlight that. Make sure they see you highlight that. Call it out, because you want to see more of that. And that's how your team grows. That's how you grow. That's how the organization grows. productivity is better, everybody's happy, right? Water what you want to grow. Look at things in your environment that are doing exceptionally well. Highlight it, call it out, make sure everyone knows that you feel like that's a great thing. We need more of that. Okay? All right, guys, that's my time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day, and I'm really hoping that these tools and these nuggets of information is really helping you become the leader that people want to follow, and also being the leader that you want to be, and a leader that people want to gravitate towards. Okay? Remember, invest in yourself, guys. Use these videos and other tools to make yourself better. Make yourself a person of influence, a person of impact. That's what I want for you. All right? And remember, great leadership equals great results. How are you leading?